Hello and welcome back to the channel, everybody. My name is Britt Abundant. I'm a yoga student and teacher living in Los Angeles. And this little lady is, of course, Jade, my constant sidekick. And today we're going to be talking about frozen shoulder. So, the official name for this is adhesive capsulitis. This is basically what happens when your joint capsule gets torn or inflamed, and your body then tries to create stability by creating adhesions. So the shoulder basically glues itself, which causes a lot of pain. And this video is near and dear to my heart because I struggled with frozen shoulder for the better part of a year. And I went to a doctor and a physical therapist, and nobody was able to really clearly tell me what was going on. And they definitely weren't able to provide me with any sort of real solutions. And it wasn't until I worked with a body worker who was incredibly healing, amazing. I cannot recommend him enough. But he helped me to not only put a name to what I was experiencing, but also gave me some real actionable things that I could do that made a difference. Um, and I think it's worth noting that frozen shoulder often disproportionately affects women. And this is often when we're in our, as we get older in life, um, typically like 50s ish, perimenopausal. This is when we experience changes in our estrogen levels and our bodies get drier. So, of course, it's another day in the world where women's health is not prioritized, which is why I feel like we need videos like this and we need tools like this. So, a couple of helpful pieces of equipment, and these are not necessary, but if you have them, they help. A roller ball, a resistance band, and a yoga strap. Um, Honestly, you could use a lot of things for these, so I will try to give you some different tools. Jade, could you not? Mean Jade. Um, so yeah, this video is basically POV. I'm your yoga instructor. You come to me and tell me that you've got this frozen shoulder thing going on. Like, what are some things that you can do? So we'll focus on movements that help the shoulder, the jaw, and the neck feel better because all of that is connected, and working on improving our shoulders' range of motion. So the first thing that I learned from my body worker was that often frozen shoulder happens because our pectoral muscles are really strong. So if you think about your pecs, these are the front of your chest, they're rounding forward all the time, right? We're like texting, we're driving, we're washing dishes, we're fucking stressed out. So our bodies is just rolling forward, kind of closed off. So what happens is we get imbalanced through our back line. So we want to focus on back strengthening. So the first thing that he taught me that I truly did every single day, like multiple times a day, and I feel like it was a game changer, is to bring your hands into a fist and then pull your elbows in line with your shoulders and sit up really tall. So it's kind of like if you were sitting on a horse and you're holding reins. And then without puffing your belly forward, because that's kind of the body's natural inclination to overcompensate for this, we'll hold the belly in. And without moving anything, we just pull the shoulder blades together on the back. And then we notice that our body maybe doesn't breathe, right? We hold the breath, we get tight. So we just continue to breathe and squeeze. You could imagine that you're squeezing like a little golf ball or something behind your shoulder, behind your back, in between your shoulder blades, and you're trying to like pop that little ball. And we just keep holding this, keep pulling back, keep hugging the belly in, take a breath in, and big exhale. So that's a really good one. Another is to reach your arms up overhead and relax your shoulders down. If you have frozen shoulder, this right here is probably going to hurt a lot. So you're just going to work with what you've got. And then again, we'll make that little fist and spin our thumbs backwards. And again, without the belly pulling forward, we hug the belly back and we start to pull the shoulder blades together on the back. I still have like a little residual frozen shouldery thing happening. So this still hurts my left shoulder a lot. But it feels a lot better and I have a lot more mobility. And then we breathe and we keep noticing, is the belly coming forward? Where am I getting sensation? And pull back just a little bit further. Take a breath in. Big exhale. And gently release that. Another thing that you can do is with a strap, or honestly, if you don't have a strap, you could use like a Swiffer mop, you could use a yardstick, right? Whatever you've got, we're gonna just get creative about what we have in our homes. But a strap, this is not an official yoga strap. This is like the strap that goes around my yoga mat that I never use anymore, so it works perfect for this. So you would take your strap as wide as you want and start to come up and then flash your arms down and back. Again, if you have frozen shoulder, this is gonna hurt like a mother. So you'll want to go wider with whatever you're holding. And eventually you're able to floss in circles forward and back. And this is also good preventative care for your shoulders. They really like this. I know that we don't really like this. It doesn't feel very good, but our shoulders do. Another one that you could do with a resistance band, or if you go to the gym, you would just do a lat pull down, but you'll open up your resistance band and then start to pull your arms down and up and down, making a little L shape with your arms, trying to keep your elbow, ooh, see, it's still a little weak, in line with your shoulder, and then coming up and then pulling down. And again, our belly button wants to over compensate for this all the time. So you really want to keep pulling your belly back in towards your spine to keep your core really engaged and strong for this. So that's another one, the lat pull down. Another, I'm not going to demonstrate this mostly because I have this little mic on, but if you have a little roller ball like this, put it on the top of your, kind of like the front of your shoulder, and then you would lay down and just kind of roll gently. So it's almost like a foam roll situation, but you can really kind of target where you feel this, and that's just going to help us loosen up those pectoral muscles. Right, so it's just like a little rolling out through the front of the shoulder and the chest. Some other yoga postures, cat cow is a really good one. You could do this seated or in all fours. So I personally kind of like the seated variation. Bring your hands around your knees and start to round through your spine. Let your shoulders pull apart on your back. Yes, Jade, just looking straight into my soul. And take a breath in. And exhale, start to round through your belly. Look up towards the ceiling. Pull your shoulder blades together. So it's that same kind of motion that we found in some of those earlier shapes. And just slowly rounding and arching through the spine. Again, you could do this on all fours, coming into hands and knees, and then just pushing away from the mat as you round through your spine, and dropping your belly down, gazing upward, prioritizing the pull of your shoulder blades together on your back. From this tabletop shape, we'll also do a little shoulder flossing. So this is a little bit weird if you've not done it before, but you're going to push down into your finger pads and keep your arms straight, even though they're going to want to bend. Really prioritize keeping the arms straight. From here, drop your torso down, squeeze your shoulder blades together on your back, and really pull your shoulder blades together. Take a breath in. And exhale, start to push down through your hands. Let your shoulder blades pull apart on your back. And so we're just going to find that dropping down and pushing apart. And all the while staying really engaged with what's happening with my shoulder blades, pulling them apart, pulling them together. And you can start to make this kind of a circular motion. Jade is absolutely on one right now. Stop, girl, please. Another one that is really good, and you can do this with a band or without, is to put the band around your upper arm, like right on top of your elbow. And then from here, you'll pull your elbows towards your outer body, your side bodies, and start to pull your arms apart. And then pulling the arms back into neutral. And again, like that, pulling the arms open, squeezing the shoulder blades together. Okay, you actually needed those notes. Feel free to move your butt. Thank you. This helps us to start getting into the rotator cuff. And just opening up through the back line, strengthening those back muscles, creating opposition from that rounding forward that we do so often through our shoulders. Another one that is just complementary is relaxing your jaw, giving yourself jaw massage. And like I mentioned earlier, all this stuff is connected, right? So if your shoulders are up here, your neck is tight, your jaw is tight, we can start to invite just a little more relaxing, a little more softening the shoulders, relaxing the jaw. And another thing I did so frequently when I was really experiencing frozen shoulders, just like rolling my shoulders out throughout the day, reaching arms up overhead and finding tricep pushdowns. So tricep pushdown, you're just going to bend through one of your arms. Your hand will come kind of to the back of your heart space. And then bring your other hand on top of that shoulder and push it down. So it's kind of like you could push your shoulder down into its socket. And then again, breathing. And then release that. You might come back to that little victory V, rolling the thumbs back, pulling your arm bones back. And take a breath. Big exhale. And then for good measure, just switch that out, do the other side. And I promise over time, this will start to help. I remember when I was doing this every single day, like, oh my God, please just let this feel better. It was a slow crawl, but it does eventually really start to help. One last thing, it's going to be hard for me to demo in here, but you would stand against your wall. So if your left shoulder is the one that is frozen, you would stand against the wall on your left side. And it's going to hurt, right? So you'll probably need to be a little bit further away from the wall and then kind of work yourself towards it. You'll bring your hand onto the wall with your thumb pointing towards your body. And from here, you'll just start to make a big circle on the wall. And as you start to pull your arm bone back, it's going to start to be like, oh my God. So that might be where you stay. And you just kind of breathe with that. If it's super ouch, walk your body a little bit further and then just continue to kind of crawl your fingers back on the wall and then breathe with that and hold it. And the more we breathe, the softer our body gets. So we get out of that fight or flight mode where we're really tense. And that's what our shoulder needs here, is just like that little bit of relaxing to kind of help it release. And over time, you can walk your body a little bit closer. Try not to rotate your other hip forward. Try not to let the belly come forward, squeeze everything in. And eventually you might be able to walk it all the way down. Truly, I did not think that I was ever going to get better from my frozen shoulder. I was getting so sad and just frustrated with it. So I do hope that this video helps. I hope that this can be like a companion if you are navigating frozen shoulder. I would also definitely recommend like finding somebody who really knows the body to do sports massage. I feel like that was such a game changer in my own journey with frozen shoulder, in addition to doing these sort of movements like all the time, honestly. And I just want to make a quick disclaimer, like, I am not a doctor, I'm a yoga teacher. I have an interest in anatomy. I have an interest in helping people feel better in their bodies. I'm currently kind of at a crossroads of if I want to go back to school for physical therapy or occupational therapy. But mostly this is just things that helped me. So I'm passing the knowledge hopefully as a way to help you if you're dealing with this. But this is by no means medical advice. I hope it helps, and I hope to see you soon.